Shalom. Having issues with my email. I was supposed to, let me try to put it in the comment section. So that way, if my special guest, if he see this email, see this link, come on and jump right on in. Let me put this in here. All right. So you know who you are. Let me see here. Let me make sure. All right. So that's for Zaydok, who's going to join us tonight. That's my special guest. So that link is for him. If you want to jump in, whenever he jumps in, whenever he jumps in the chat, guys, let me know so that way I could bring him in on this discussion. So the objectives for this lesson, this is what we're going to cover tonight. Is saying the name Jesus the worship of Zeus? Is saying the literal name Jesus the worship of Zeus? Is there a difference between the name Joshua and Jesus? What is the true name of Ha-Mashiach? What's the difference between translation and transliteration? These are some of the questions we're going to cover tonight. Does the name Jesus come from Zeus? Does the name Jesus mean Hail Zeus? So we're going to start off with the Hebrew definition of name. This is very important, family. This is very important. Why is this important? And this is one word that I've been teaching for years. I've been teaching this basic foundation, this basic thing in our assembly for years on top of years. You get this one word down, it'll help you out on other within other passages that you may read. And we're going to really build on this word here, the Hebrew definition of the word name. This is a transliterated word for his name. But let's see what it means from a Hebraic school of thought. Right? You see here, it says Shem, right? But actually in ancient Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew is what many would refer to it as, is Sham. Now you see where it says mark or memorial of individuality. In other words, it can mean a literal name, right? Jesus is a literal name. But then we see honor, authority, character, fame, and famous, renown, report, reputation, fame, glory. This is a very key word, that will knock down a lot of confusion, because I really caused a storm when at an assembly that I taught a couple of months ago. When I said to the assembly, I said to them, there is no power in the name Jesus. Oh man, you can imagine how stirred up the people got. Some of the people got, because there was some old mothers up in there that was in their 70s, and when I said that there's no power in the name Jesus, I said, what if I told you there is no power in the name Jesus? And man, they began to say, you're not going to tell me that I did not cast out demons in the name of Jesus. You're not going to tell me with the name of Jesus that there's no power in the name of Jesus. But then I also said, what if I tell you that there's no power in the ancient name of Jesus? The actual name of the Messiah, rather, not Jesus, the ancient name of the Messiah. You got a little quiet. And I'm going to share with you why. I'm not profaning the literal name of the ancient Messiah, but I'm going to make it clear where the power lies in. Because we can make idols into anything. See, we are a people, if we're not careful, we can idolize anything. We can make, for example, you see the cross is now an idol. You can make an idol of the Bible. You can make an idol of the Ark of the Covenant like Eli's sons did. They used the Ark of the Covenant as a good luck charm, like many use the Bible. Have it old school, they have it sitting on the dashboard. Or many of us grew up old school. Your grandmother had that Bible, that white holy Bible, turned to the 22nd or the 23rd book of Psalms. Pages all yellow, right? Many can use and have used the things of the Most High as a charm. If you're not careful, you can use your identity as a charm. You could use fringes as a charm. The Star of David is a charm, so that's not even biblical. If you're not careful, you can make anything into a charm. This is into an idol. This is why the Most High made it clear not to even make images, graven images of him, because we'll make anything into an idol. So, Sham, right? It can mean a literal name, but also honor, authority, character, fame, renown, report, reputation. That's the key. Character, reputation, interchangeable with glory, kabod. So make a note of this here. This is key to understand. If you have to take a screen print, but make a note of this right here. All right. Make a note of this. This is important for you to understand as we progress in this lesson. So Sham means name, in other words, a literal title, but it also means honor, authority, character, reputation. So is saying the name Jesus the worship of Zeus? Now, any thoughts on, have you had to deal with that from a perspective of if someone heard you say Jesus and they kind of challenge you, or why you saying this word Jesus, that your blessings are not going to be heard, or you're going to hell and all this other stuff, or you're worshiping the pig and all these different things?
Well, first of all, I appreciate the invite, brother. As we talked earlier this week, this is something that, even though it might be elementary to yourself and myself because of how long we've been, I guess, educated to come to a conclusion in this particular topic, we as teachers now, I wasn't always a teacher, but as a teacher now, it is my job when this topic comes up and I'm asked about it to share my opinion. But it's nothing I no longer think about. But I definitely want to say this, man, because you done brought me on camera. So, y'all smell that? I smell smoke! Because it's that time, Pastor. See, back in 2010, there was, I'm not going to give their name, but there was an Israelite-based organization out of Baltimore, Maryland, that my brethren and I here in upstate New York had got we started to build a rapport with one another. We're in upstate New York, they're in Maryland. And because the congregation that I was a part of had a model that we tried to build some aspects of our fellowship off of the Acts 2 and Acts chapter 4 model. So we owned many properties, had common housing for the brethren in the community. We brought 37 acres of land outside the city, owned a 2.5 acre plot of land inside the city, growing all kind of fruits and vegetables, planting trees. We had this creating monthly pots where every month a different family from the belief fellowship had got whatever we accumulated monthly just to give them extra finances to help. These things were inspired by the spirit of what we saw happening in Acts. And you just pointed out Barnabas. Barnabas didn't grow up in Jerusalem. He grew up in, I believe it was Cyprus. When he saw what happened on Pentecost, he left Jerusalem, went back, liquidated his assets, moved back to Jerusalem, and took some of them things and put them at the apostles' feet, and was on point to be down with that intentional community. So these brothers from Baltimore found out what we were doing, and they were a much older congregation than us, yet they felt we had made so many strides being a much younger congregation than them. At this time, the congregation I'm a part of was only 6 years old. And so they came to our city for about a 4 or 5 day visit. We had a house where we were able to put them up. They didn't have to stay in hotels, and they came about 8, 9 deep, Pastor Kelly. And we had a property set for them to stay in together so they wouldn't be in a strange city, separated as brothers, right? So they really loved what they saw. They loved the spirit of Hamashiach on us. But when we had that first night gathering and we done barbecued and cooked and we come together, one of our brothers who was fellowshipping with us, we said, hey, brother, stand up and just bless the table so we can break bread. He stood up and he prayed to Elohim, and he ended his prayer in the name of, he said Jesus. He said the word Jesus. And these brothers from Baltimore, even though they came to us saying that we need to learn the spirit y'all have to be willing to come together to do things in this manner, the word Jesus offended them. So we had a big conversation about it. So I went through that story just to let people know how long I've been personally dealing with this, both sides of the spectrum of this argument. And so what you've done so far is awesome. I've been watching from the beginning since you've been saying hello to everyone in the chat. And just to show that Barnabas was called Zeus, if you do a word search, you'll easily find out that what Barnabas was called there is not the same word in English that is referencing Hamashiach in the same scripture. So all you got to do is go look at the word quote unquote Jesus and look at that word Zeus, and you'll see they're not the same word.
Exactly.
If they're the same word, then Joanna and Joseph in English are the same word. So that's all I got to say for now. I want you to get back to what you're doing, because you got all kind of PowerPoint stuff happening. So I'm sitting back getting an education as well. So whenever you desire for me to edify and chime in, I'm here, brother. Tonight isn't to say, hey, all of you who think you on some deep level because you're Israel or whatever, y'all need to start saying the word Jesus more. Don't use Yahushua that much anymore, or Yahusha, Yeshua, you know, the argue over, you know, now we say we know the Hebrew. Now you find cats arguing over which Hebrew pronunciation is the correct one, right? Tonight isn't to encourage you to use the word Jesus. It is to encourage you to stop the false doctrine that's being taught as if this is Yah's command for your brethren who may not have in their minds what you have in your mind. They're going to use Jesus, like the pastor just said, his grandmother, Jesus, my grandmother, Jesus, even myself for many, many, many years, just Jesus, Jesus. So I think that the point is there an issue when we look at our New Testament writing in our English Bibles and we see the word Jesus? Is that a problem? Has some conspiracy by the Catholics, or maybe some of y'all on one hand are backing the Arius Piso theory or something? I don't know. And if you don't know what that is, then go do your research. You know what? Hey, Pastor, can I share my screen one time?
Go ahead.
People something like
Go ahead. Let me pull this up for you. Let's see here. You got the floor, Zaydok.
Okay, so you can see that I got Bible Hub up here. Okay, so I just wanted to show this. Now, our good brother Stephen, and if you want to go to his name in Hebrew, there is a Hebrew derivative of it, but you're going to also have to accept that he was considered a Hellenistes, which is the Greek word that points to more than not Hebrews who lived in the Greek world, spoke the Greek language as their primary language, and so on and so forth. So his name, his birth name, more than likely would have been Greek first, and you would have to transliterate it into Hebrew. But whatever. Him, Philip, Nicanor, read the 7 brothers in Acts chapter 6 who were chosen. Grecian Israelites, if you will, meaning Greek-speaking Hebrews. See, it's something that we've done. We totally, through this bad preference doctrine, it's not the doctrine of the Most High, it's our own doctrine. We have turned around and just thrown out the whole reason for the Ruach, revealing the gift that Israel hadn't even experienced before, which was the speaking in the speaking in all languages, the wonderful works of Yah Elohim. But here in my English Bible, I'm speaking weak English for all you Hebrew experts. And you know one more thing. I'm tired of cats who speak English 99% every day, and you learn some Hebrew words out of your little Strongs or your Thayers or your Brown Drivers and Briggs, and now you want to heap the damnation of the earth on anyone who just speak totally English because 1% of your speaking is Hebrew. You don't even really speak Hebrew or read. I'm tired of y'all, man. I love y'all, but I can be tired of that because I've seen it divide brothers, and the ones who do the dividing aren't the ones who use the word Jesus a lot. It's the ones who think they on to something so deep, they got to hold you away from a 10-foot palm with a 10-foot pole because if you knew better, you would do better. But anyway, I'm sorry. I'm being a little facetious, but not. So here it says, our fathers had the tabernacle of witness in the wilderness as he had appointed unto Moses. Are y'all going to stone me because I'm not saying Moshe? Please, y'all, just, have mercy on your brother. Oh, I'm sorry, your Ak. See, y'all, I gotta remember, that he should make it according to the fashion that he had seen, which also our fathers that came after brought in with Jesus into the possession of the Gentiles, whom God drave out before the face of our fathers, unto the days of David. This Jesus here is not referencing a pre-incarnate version of the one who walked in the flesh, who we call Yeshua, Yahawashi, whatever, Hamashiach. This Jesus here is referencing Joshua. That's who this is referencing, everyone.
Absolutely. That's right.
This is referencing him. Now, this isn't even referring to who people call the Messiah. This is talking about the son of Nun, whose original name, Hosea, was changed by Moshe to Yahushua or Yahawashai. Look at this. Now, this isn't a conspiracy. Now, I don't have my book here in the studio room with me, but I actually have the Septuagint. I have a copy of the Septuagint. It's all Old Testament. The sixth book after Deuteronomy ends, the sixth book that is written as Joshua in our English Bibles. In my Greek Old Testament, it's Iesus. Now, I want to show you all something. Here is the online Greek Bible. Now, for all of us who aren't Greek experts, it's okay. But that name is right here. I'm sorry. Let me go back.
I was just looking for my Septuagint. I got one, but I don't have it in here. I got it in my other room.
I'm sorry. Let me go back. Oh, it did. It did what I wanted. Okay, everyone. Can y'all see here? Wait, what happened? Oh, my bad, y'all. Hold on. Acts 7 and 45. I'm sorry, everyone. I didn't realize it was going to do that. Okay. So now, here, y'all see this here?
That's right.
This, y'all see what it says up here in the drop, in the pop-up window? IHSOU with an equal sign and S. That's Jesus. The first time that this word was written was in the first 5 books in the Pentateuch, translated by the 60 elders, 5 elders out of all 12 tribes, sent to Alexandria at the behest of King Ptolemy with agreement from the high priest of Israel to make a copy of the book of the law for the library in Alexandria, which was openly available to the Greek-speaking Hebrews who lived in Alexandria. And if you go and read the history on it, it said when the elders of Alexandria saw the book of the law written in Greek where they could read it, they cried. They cried. See, for some of us, we just dismiss the experience of our forefathers because we make this particular word a conspiracy for, I don't know, a white picture on the wall or whatever. But when you go into Numbers and you read about when the Most High said the only ones who would make it into the land, he said is Joshua or Jesus or Yahushua and Caleb, because they were of a different spirit. Go and look at your Greek Septuagint, just the 5 books of the law. Don't even go to the book of Joshua. And you'll see in the oldest copies of the Greek, this word is the word in the book of Numbers for Joshua, because it was a transliteration in Greek of his name. So I just want to show this to, we making this about about Hamashiach alone. But that's why when we read in these English versions of the Bible, instead of Elijah being called Elijah or Eliyahu, it is Elias. Yeshua says, this is Elias that was to come. Is that a conspiracy against Elijah the prophet? When he bring up Elisha, Naaman, he is Eliseus. Is that a conspiracy against those 2 prophets? No, it is simply that Greek is a different tongue than Hebrew, and that the transliterating of words are going to be a little different than what pure Hebrew speakers would be used to. But it's no sin against Yah. So I just wanted to throw that into the equation to show you that Joshua or Yahushua, the son of Nun, had that name all written in the Greek scriptures before there was a New Testament, or even before Hamashiach came and was revealed in the flesh. Okay, brother, thank you for that. I give
so. Moray Brown, did you want to go ahead and finish elaborating what you was pointing out with Barabbas? I believe he was dealing with Barabbas.
Yeah. Now, but that was a great point that Zaydok and you were laying back on what he was saying. It's the same thing. I always ask brothers. We look at King Agrippa, and there's a dialogue between him and Paul, and we know that Paul understood the Greek language. He spoke Greek and Latin and things like that. And in the scriptures, when you're looking at, there's a conversation going back and forth between them two. I mean, we pretty much know that they were probably not speaking Hebrew in that discourse going back and forth. That King Agrippa probably was more than likely speaking either Greek or Latin or some form of. And in that dialogue back and forth between them two, as Paul was, basically saying, hey, listen, I want you to have salvation. Matter of fact, everyone here, just the same as I. Only thing I don't want you to have is the chains that I have on my arms right now. But I'm pretty sure in that dialogue between them two, if the name did come up, Jesus, they were not pronouncing it Jesus. They were not pronouncing it in his Hebrew name. more than likely that dialogue, Paul was probably dialoguing back and forth with him, and they was probably saying Iesu. They probably was using that form of conversation if they were speaking Greek in that dialogue. But back to the point that we were talking about earlier, that, you know, brothers and sisters they knew his name, they knew who he was, and whatnot, and yet at the same time they turned around and they said they still wanted him to be crucified, and at one point they still wanted to choose Barabbas over him, which says that what did the name mean to them? What did his name actually mean? They still didn't get no revelation of who he was. And so the thing is, when I look at it in today's time, brothers and sisters arguing over this name, arguing over that, and all this other stuff. The question is, do we actually have revelation of who he is? Because if we did, we wouldn't really be arguing as much as we are over the name. Now, as Brother Zaydok was talking earlier, now you get into an argument with brothers. Okay, you say, hey man, I say Yeshua. Now we got to argue about, are you saying the Y-E Yeshua? Or are you saying the Y-A-H Yeshua? Like, it just becomes endless of an argument. So my thing is, when I'm dealing with brothers, I say, hey, listen, man, because I don't want to offend my brothers. I'll say, hey, look, what name do you use at your assembly? What name do you use at your temple? You know, and that way, when I do go there, I'm going to make sure that, hey, okay, I'm going to, you know, use the name that they use. But I'm not limited to that, because I firmly believe I've witnessed, not only just as when I was a Christian, but I witnessed even as an Israelite, the power in him moving in the fact, no matter which name it was, whether it was Jesus, whether it was Yeshua, whether it was Yahweh, it didn't matter, because I know who he is. And not only that, but he knows who I am. So at the end of the day, I believe more of his authority than I do believe the alphabetical characters that we're arguing over.
Well, even to your point, you was going to say something, Zaydok?
Oh, I just wanted to say this. You all remember that civil war early in the days of Israel when they almost obliterated the tribe of Benjamin.
Absolutely. Judges. Yeah.
And it's interesting because even though they spoke Hebrew like their brethren, they couldn't pronounce the sheen correctly.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, if you were from the tribe of Benjamin, you could not bring your tongue, even though you spoke Hebrew, quote unquote, you couldn't bring your tongue to say Shibboleth. They always said Sibboleth. And the Israelites, because we all look alike, they set up tolls to catch anyone coming by their way, because they really were trying to take out the tribe of Benjamin. And if they found any man, they would say, yo, say Shibboleth. They were forcing, and the Benjamite couldn't save his own life because he couldn't say Shibboleth. He speaking Hebrew he couldn't pronounce the sheen correctly.
Man.
So how is it that we put this on our brethren? We have made up a doctrine that we don't respect the rules of grammar of Hebrew, let alone any language. Most people who got this argument don't really understand English and been speaking it ever since their mamas and daddies taught it to them. Do not understand the grammatical principles of this language. They call it a weak language, but yet Hebrew is a makeup of it's a sister language of other languages. So at the end of the day, if we don't really find out what the Shem of Yeshua is, what in Greek unome is, then you could go ahead and say whatever phraseology you prefer. You still will not get into the gates of his presence, because he will say, you clearly didn't know what my name was.
And I just thought I'd do a quick live, and you guys see the title of this video, Addicted to J. addicted to J. Where am I going at with that? Addicted to J. I mean, what could that mean? You know, I've been teaching this for years. I posted a number of lectures, and one key lecture is The Facts Are Facts by Benjamin Friedman. I've done lessons titled The Deception of the English Language, which I'm going to do that over again. No matter how hard you teach certain things and give valid sources, so many of us are addicted to J. We cannot let go of J no matter what. In church, they are addicted to J. Even though we know that that letter J was not created until like the 17th, 18th century. But no matter what, so many of us are addicted to J. Now, in the church, you have Jesus. Man, there's such an addiction to the letter J that even in the church, they've been taught to indirectly discredit the Father. You notice that the Father, his name has been reduced to a generic construct, which comes from the Proto-Germanic language, which the English language is a branch of, Gott, G-O-T-T. Even when the Most High made it clear not to even utter other names of other deities in his worship place, the addiction, the agenda to the letter J now have the Most High's people calling on another deity. Don't even realize you actually have gotten got G-O-T-T, which now is spelled G-O-D. G-O-T-T, got. Many of you guys got. I got because initially I was saying God. We'll say God the Father, but we won't say Yahweh or Yah. And then some will say Yahweh, whatever the case may be. But think about that. The letter J is so addicting, right? They made us so dependent on the letter J. Who is the they? Remember in my lesson that I did last week, over the past few weeks actually, I exposed a key person who is the son of perdition, and his name starts with the letter J. Who is the son of perdition? Japheth. Look at the letter, the lesson that I did on the battle of Gog, Magog, and all of that. I share with you how Japheth is the son of perdition. Pretty much all his key descendants have caused problems for Israel. You see it today. You see those that are descendants of Japheth occupying a territory that's not even theirs. Occupying a territory that's not even theirs, but yet we are addicted to the letter J. Paul warned about the son of perdition in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Said that the son of perdition, that letter J, which before the letter J was created, the sound was under the letter G. Oh, y'all, that's why I noticed I said G. Doesn't G still make the J sound? And one of the sons of the letter J is Gomer. Oh man, we're so messed up. We've been programmed, and you have what is called the recess of your mind, right? Your recess, your how can I put it? The recess of your mind. I'll just go there. I'm not going to try to get too deep with it. We've been programmed, family, to love the letter J. So no matter how many times you explain and share the true name of Christ, right? No matter how many times you share it, guess what? Many want to hold on to the letter J versus his real name. See, I believe when you know someone has done so much for you, when you know that someone has laid down their life for you, the first thing you want to do is know what's their name. What is their name? You don't want to just know the nickname or whatever. You want to know what is the name. So now we've been programmed to be so addicted to the letter J by the descendants of the letter J that we don't even question that we see the J, Jesus, name, transliterated name of Yahweh Shai, which the short form now and modified name is Yeshua. We see that all, we see the transliterated name of a transliterated name of a transliterated name, that we see that is all through the New Testament. Where's the Father's name in the New Testament? That is all calculated by who? We're so addicted to the letter J. We're so addicted to the letter J and the letter G that sounds the same that we're so quick to say, hey, I am an OG. Now we have been programmed to receive Gog. Take off the first letter G, you still have OG, and we're bragging about being an OG. You still paying homage to Gog, Magog, the descendants of who? The letter J, which is the G, Gomer. You see how they programmed and wired us to where we're so addicted to the letter G? Or should I say the letter J by way of the sound G? That to the point that when you even teach about the true name of Israel, specifically the tribe of Judah, which is Yahweh in ancient Hebrew, or some of you guys would say Yahudah. We're so addicted to the letter J that we hold on to a construct that began its conception in the 12th century. But then when the 17th century, going into the 18th century, actually the 18th century, it was perfected. And that's that name, Jew. So many of us are so programmed that you actually think that the ancient Israelites are the original Jews. Even when you get information from the very people who hijacked, they will tell you in the Jewish almanac that it's incorrect to call an ancient Israelite a Jew, or to call a Jew an ancient Israelite. But yet many of you will still hold on to the narrative that the Jew is an ancient term. No matter how many videos I've shared, giving you the facts are the facts, you still want to hold on to saying that we are the original Jew. Come on, family. Come on, family. We are not the original Jew. We are not the original J. We are Judah, or actually in the ancient pronunciation of it, we are Yahweh if you're a descendant of Judah. Or Yahudah. Some would say Yehudi. A construct Jew that was created. And many would point fingers at the church and say they don't want to let go of the name J that starts with the letter J, but yet you want to hold on to Jew? Nah, Copper Queen, don't try to spin on it. No, the word Jew is not a short form of Judah. See, that's what happens when we try to hold on to a construct that was made up. See, if you want to be clear, if you want me to give clarity, the short form, the first letter in the ancient Aleph Bayat for Judah in ancient Hebrew is the Yah. Yah-Hawadah. So don't try to conflate the word Jew as being a short form of Judah, because that's not true. That was a created term. Oh, come on. That started with the letter G. Come on, family. Let me say that again. The word Jew initially started with the letter G. And that's the point that I want to make to you guys. See, those that are pushed the letter J, those that are pushing the letter J, those that are pushing this three-letter word, they are descendants of the letter J. That's why they're so comfortable with it, right? Think about it. They are part of that fourth beast that have perfected manipulation. They have perfected manipulation so much, so bad, that even when you should remove yourself and separate, you still indirectly pay homage to them by saying, we are the original Jew. Nah, family, you are not the original Jew. You are the original Israelites. You are the original tribe, or should I say Judah. If you're from the tribe of Judah, you are the original Yahwadah. You are the original Yahudah. You are the original Yehudi. You are not the original Jew. That word was created for a specific political purpose and to attach an identity to it. So, hold on one second, family. Hold on one second. Let me pause it here. Let me see something. All right, sorry about that, family. I'm picking up some stuff here. All right, so I had to pause here. So, family, I'm going to say that, and I'm going to leave it here because I got to get ready to get on the road. Let go of that name. We are the original Israelites. We're not Israeli. If you out of the tribe of Judah, Yahwadah, we are the original Judah. They created that short word Jew to point to their community. Just like we have the word Christian. Just like how we have the word Christian. Right? Just like that word Christian, which, you know, is for points to a religious institution today. The word Jew points to a religious institution. The word Jew is, in order to be a Jew, you have to practice Judaism, which the word Judaism didn't even exist. You have to practice a religion in order to be labeled a Jew. You have to denounce everything else to become a Jew. But guess what? They still have to give the final approval of you becoming a Jew. Just like Christians. Hey, in order for you to be a Christian, you have to do what? Follow a religious system. I'm not trying to get too deep with this, but I wanted to share with you guys as I close here. The letter J, that word Jew, we are not the original Jew. Paul was not a Jew. You know, the overall Israelites, because think about it. How is the word Jew used right now? It's used synonymously to all, supposedly of all of Israel. Of all of Israel. That's still part of the Psalms, the 83rd book of Psalms doctrine, to make it so that way the name of Israel, the reputation of Israel, is no longer in remembrance. So therefore, they created a construct to where now even the term Israelite is now becoming a demonic term. The phrase Hebrew Israelite is used in a negative form. Israelite or Hebrews, all of those are now is negative, but not the word Jew.